Today I'm going to be working on a 2023 Chevy Tahoe RST model with the Duramax diesel, 3-liter diesel. So I'm going to go through quite a few things. I'm going to put within the description below, so it's going to be kind of a long video, but if you are looking for something specific that I'm going to mention now, you can look within the description and I'll have it timestamped. Some of the things that we're going to go over is the maintenance mode to turn that on and turn that off. That is paramount. If you are trying to do your brakes and your rotors and you do not put it in maintenance mode, you can destroy your ABS system, your electronic parking brake, all of that stuff. I found out personally because I didn't realize that you had to do that. And so nonetheless, it will be important for you to learn how to do that on the Chevy 2023 Tahoe models. If you have a wheel that's making a noise when you're driving, so you hear, I found out exactly what that was. There was all kinds of things online. Nobody really kind of penciled it in or pinpointed it. I found it, and I will show you exactly what was making that noise and how to repair that, how to fix that. I will show you what rotors and pads I bought. I will be honest with you that I bought some rotors and pads from R1 Concepts, and they didn't fit my rear, so I had to send those back in, and the fronts fit, or at least I thought, and they've caused me nothing but problems. So I went back to Power Stop, which has been absolutely amazing, and I'm putting on drilled and slotted rotors today and pads, so I'll show you how to do that. Also, the brake pad wear sensors. Do you need them? Do you not need them? Not really understanding too much about brake pad wear sensors, and I will be, again, up front, I am not a expert mechanic by any means. I'm a DIYer, if you want to call it that. I'm just trying to save my family money, and I'm sure you're probably looking at videos right now and you're on this one because you're trying to save your family money. Nonetheless, brake pad wear sensors, thankfully Power Stop does sell them as a kit, and I will also show you within this video how to order them from rockauto.com. We will go through brake pad sensor reset, how to reset that within the control module within your vehicle. Also brake seating, your brake pad seating instructions. I will go through those instructions. I believe that that's important. I've always done it, but nonetheless, you can choose whether you want to or not, but I would if I was you. And then also a couple of tips that I found out owning the Chevy Tahoe is, especially when those plastic covers, how you put them on and how you don't break them and how they're supposed to seat every single time. I found out something on that. And also we'll go through the retorquing process of your lug nuts for your tires. So a lot to go through. Again, everything will be within the description below, so it will be timestamped so that you don't have to watch every single little thing. But I'm going to go through this process. I wanted to make this. My prayer and my hope is that it helps somebody else out. I looked on YouTube and searched for 2023 Chevy Tahoes for brake pads and for the sensors and for the rotors and the whole thing, and I just kept coming up short and I couldn't find anything. So I pray this helps you. I hope it helps you finish the job, get it done, and save your family some money. So God bless you. I hope you enjoy the video.
So before I put this in maintenance mode, I'm going to go ahead and put chocks in the back. Make sure before you jack up your vehicle that you go ahead and break these bolts or loosen them up. I will tell you that the type of socket you will be using is a 7/8, a 7/8. And so I went ahead and broke that to make sure that we're ready to go. And I will show you the two spots that I use, one for the floor jack and then for my jack stand. So once I've broken those bolts and I have it up in the air, the spot that I use, you can kind of tell there. So it's actually a circular part right there. I'll go ahead. And then right behind it, right there, so you can tell I use it a lot, you can actually put your jack stand right there. And then something else, another safety feature I would share with you is make sure maybe with this tire, go ahead and put it in the front of your vehicle underneath the frame. So just in case if any of these fail, you will be still protected. Okay, so putting it in service and maintenance mode is the most important thing you could possibly do when changing your brakes. Whether you're doing just your pads or your rotors, you want to make sure that this thing is in maintenance mode so it doesn't freak out, throw off your ABS sensor, or throw off your electronic parking brake. So first thing we're going to do not touch the brake pedal, is go ahead and hold the push to start. You're going to have to hold that for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. You're going to see the display come on. The display is on. The parking brake is currently on, so go ahead and step on the pedal and turn the parking brake off. Now the parking brake is off. Keep your foot on the brake pedal, and now you're going to hold the parking brake button. You're going to hold that for 5 or 10 seconds, and then you're going to see a yellow wrench flashing on the screen. Once you see the yellow wrench flashing on the screen, you literally have a couple of seconds to let go of the button and push the button quickly again and let your foot off the pedal. So there's the flash. So you're going to go ahead and hold that there, take your foot off the pedal. You're done. You could hear it. It's going into maintenance mode. Okay, now the parking brake's released. Then again, you can go ahead and shut your vehicle off. When you go, again, you want to make sure that you disconnect the negative battery cable before you go to do your work. Nonetheless, it's in maintenance mode, but when you get done, you reinstall your negative battery cable. You come in here, you're going to push to start without touching the brake. You're going to do the whole process over again, and then you're just going to be able to turn off maintenance mode in the same condition. So what you want to do is you want to remove that negative battery terminal after you've put the vehicle in service and maintenance mode. What I went ahead and did is I have this 10 millimeter. The only thing that I can get to fit was this star style pattern. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and remove that. Okay, now the negative battery terminal, it has been removed. So we'll go ahead and try to set that up somewhere where you can't contact anything else. Go ahead and disconnect from here, just for the sake of moving it out of the way. Just got a push button. So we'll go ahead and just move that away from the terminal. Okay, so now let's talk about this noise that you keep hearing. It sounds like a and many people have said, well, maybe it's the rotor itself, or the face of the rotor wasn't turned correctly, and maybe it's just off, just a tiny little bit of percent, and it's contacting the brake pad and it's making that noise. Well, I've looked into it. I've tried everything. I've sprayed this thing down. I can't tell you how many times. Maybe there's a rock, there's something stuck into it. No. What I come to find out is that the design of the R1 Concepts rotors, which again, I had to send back the rear because they didn't fit on the Chevy Tahoe 2023. Then I put the power stops on the back, but I kept the fronts because they did fit. But what I come to find out is if you can see this little hump right here in the rotor, that is what's contacting this. So this is being contacted as you're going here. Obviously a bad example. I'll show you what the pad looks like below. This is a brand new pad from Power Stop. So as this is contacting, this is making contact with this back portion, and it's rubbing into the metal and destroying the outside of the metal right here. If you notice, the new rotor from Power Stop is not going to have that issue because this is a flat surface. Good design, bad design. So if you can tell, look at that little hump right there. That right there has destroyed these brake pads and as well as destroyed this rotor. So if you're hearing a it's because this metal on the back of your brake pad is making contact with your rotor. Something to look into. That's what I found. There's all kinds of things people are looking for online. This is what I found. This was the issue. And I'm going to show you what the new pad looks like from Power Stop and what I had to do. And I'm going to be honest with you. I took a Dremel tool and I ground down the metal right here to make sure that it didn't make that sound anymore. But it's not safe. I shouldn't have to do that on a brand new set. So now I'm replacing these, $300 or $400 rotors and pads because they're having issues, and obviously I can't take those back. So nonetheless, I'm gonna have to eat the cost, but I learned a valuable lesson. If you know that something works, you know a brand is trustworthy, it works. Again, I don't know all R1 Concepts. It's my first time going with them, but this was a bad design right here. This is what costs the rotor, and this is what costs the pad right here, making that sound where it sounds like it's constantly hitting something. I don't think it's a high spot in the rotor. I think it's this right here has got a lip, has actually have a lip on it and a hump in it, when this is just straight and plain. You're not gonna have that issue here. You are gonna have that issue here. As you can see, this has been making contact. This is from R1 Concepts. And again, I'm not trying to slander anybody at all. It's very disheartening. It was super frustrating that I'm already having to, I just put these on a couple of months ago. This rotor is eating into the back plate of that pad. That's what's happening. So this is making contact with this hump right here. Again, going back to that original design from Power Stop that's just flat right here, that would alleviate all of that. And so I will tell you, and maybe I bought the wrong ones. Maybe I clicked all those things and Rock Auto to be able to choose the right one for the 3-liter diesel, not the performance package. I believed I clicked everything. Rock Auto even asked me, this is the right one for your vehicle. What do you mean it doesn't fit? It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. So nonetheless, this was the issue that I had. So if you're hearing something connect, you need to pull your pads and you need to look, this may be going on right here. And if this is the case, you need to change out your rotors and pads. I did try to grind them down. This isn't my grinding. This is actually now, I've already ground it down and I colored it in with a black Sharpie. That means it's already made contact with all of these surfaces here. So it's going to continue to do that. You can get rid of the noise for a little bit, but this is not okay. So nonetheless, this is what you're going to have to deal with. So this is what I found that noise was that's making the that's what was making the noise. And it was this being ground down by the rotor or this grinding down the rotor. Totally unsafe. Just please be aware of that. Okay, so if you go to Rock Auto, you're going to come down to Chevrolet. Once you find Chevrolet, just go ahead and click on that. I'm going to a 2023. Then I'm going to go all the way down to Tahoe. Once you go to Tahoe, there should be a couple options for you. I chose a 3-liter L6 diesel turbocharged. I'm going to go to brake and wheel hub. And then I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to go to the rotor and brake pad kit. There's actually going to be quite a few sections like daily driver. I generally go all the way down to the bottom for premium. I chose the PowerStop K8172. This is for the RST model, which is what I have, but it excludes the performance package. I do not have the performance package with the diesel. Nonetheless, this was the right one for me. It's going to actually come with the rotors. It's going to come with the pads, all of the hardware, and also it will come with those brake pad wear sensors, which is important, right? They actually come with the package, which not a lot of the manufacturers do that. So then you're going to go up and also find the rear. Sometimes you could find them together, but I'm going to get the PowerStop rear, which is the K8173. Also, again, comes with the rotors, the pads, the hardware, and the brake pad wear sensor. So these are going to be the ones. You go ahead and add those to cart. And then once you get to cart, you will see your grand total. It's probably going to be less than $500, so $489. Nonetheless, there is $50 rebates right now for both of those, but these are going to be the ones that I would recommend. PowerStop is a great manufacturer. I've never had an issue with them. Okay, so here is your brake pad wear sensor. So here is a new one from PowerStop. Here is the original. So this is the OEM. I believe it's from Bosch. It's going to be same. You can obviously tell that they're the same. That's really good. Now, if you're like me, you're like, what the heck is a brake pad wear sensor? Can I just not use the same one that's already there? And the answer is no. So this head, what's going to happen is as you drive and as you brake, this head will wear down actually with the brake pad against the rotor, just like this one did. And that's why it's going to be able to tell you, hey, you have 36% left of your pad because this is being worn down. So I believe this is about, it said it had 16% left of the pad. So that's obviously what started this whole deal for me to be able to change them out. So this, I'll show you where it's connected, but this will have to be replaced. So make sure that you buy the appropriate brake pad wear sensor for your rotors and for your pads. You will need it. This is shot. It will be shot because it's wearing down, and there is a brand new one. And when you go to install the new one, what's going to happen is literally you're going to install it. So there's the brake pad side. And it's literally just going to clip right in that section right there. It's going to clip right in, and then it's going to plug in up top. Let me go ahead and show you where that goes. So if you look right here, see if I could show it to you. So there's actually the clip for it right here. And you can tell that that one's already installed right there. So that's where the clip is. You'll go ahead and, there we go. Go ahead and push it up. There it is. And then so you just go ahead and release that clip. You're going to pull that part up. Once you pull that part up, then you're just going to hold down that button, and then you're going to pull it out. Something else I would also encourage you to do is fully install the pads into the caliper. And obviously the rotor's on, the pads are installed, and then go ahead, and then that's when you would then connect this piece into here, and then you'd lock it down, and then go ahead and go find that piece. And then once you find the piece, go ahead and stick it into that pad. You'll be able to do it from underneath, but I would definitely install everything first before I go do that, because you're going to have to go through this caliper here to actually go into there. So that's just a tip for me. So in your engine bay, your master cylinder for your brake fluid will be right here. Something, maybe it's wrong, I'm not sure, but something that I like to do, I believe it's DOT4 by the way, something I like to do is just take off the cap and then just open it up, put a little rag down there, so when I am compressing the pistons, if anything's going to come out of here. I've recently, because during not putting it in maintenance mode, I had a piston just pop out of the caliper, which is a whole ordeal. All the micro bubbles that got in the system, the ABS, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had to bleed this system and put brand new fluid in. So I had to get a gravity bleeder. I put one on top of here. And so the way that I've always generally done is just take that cap and then leave it open while I'm compressing the pistons. And there's no special tools needed for the front rotors and pads. So another thing, again, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Again, not an expert mechanic, nothing like that. I'm just DIYing this thing to try to make sure, save my family some money. And also I've done a ton of brake jobs, but I'm learning every day. So not against any pointers. Okay, so now let's do the rotor and pad replacement. Okay, so right on top of the rotor, you actually have this T30 Torx, which is actually holding the rotor itself in place. So we'll go ahead and take the T30, and we'll go ahead and take that off. Don't want to lose that, so put that somewhere safe. So now that's ready to go. On the back side. Okay, so kind of first what I like to do is I will take, if I can get it in here, there's some cotter pins. There's going to be 2 of them. There's the one there. There's going to be one there. So you'll go ahead and pull both of those out. Then once you pull out, you'll actually pull these pins here. Then you'll pull this piece. And then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and remove both the brake pads. Before I pull the caliper off, I will come right here and I will actually loosen that, which I will tell you what that is here shortly, the size of that. And then, so that gives me a little bit more room. I bring this big old block of wood that sits in there for me so that I could set this caliper down. And then to be able to take the caliper off, there's going to be 2 3/4 inch sockets, or you'll need a 3/4 inch socket to take that one out. And then you'll take that one out. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take the old rotor off. One of the things I like to do, I like to go ahead Clean it up, let it sit for a second. So if you'll notice right here, you want to make sure while you're putting these rotors on, it says front passenger side. Don't want to make the mistake of putting them on the wrong side. So this is going to be the front passenger side. And if you know, you actually got some threads here, some threaded areas. So we're actually going to go with this one that's going to have the bigger. And if you notice, there's going to be that T30 Torx. We're going to have to put that back in. So let's go ahead and line that up. And anytime you're putting that T30 back on, definitely want to do it by finger. You want to make sure you don't jack up the threads. Okay, now that we know that we're in. Okay, so now that is on. I also like to give this a good spray too. Clean it up. Also spray this this caliper and clean it all up before I put the pads in. Okay, so now it is back on. I put the pads in. I would just say take the pistons themselves and just gently, little by little, just scoot them out and just put them puppies back in. I put some grease on the back side of that just to make sure that they were good to go. Installed the pin, installed the little cotter pins at the very end there. That was good to go. Tightened everything back up, and now it's good to go. And as if you can tell, look at the space and the distance between the brake pad and the rotor. We're not going to have that same problem anymore. So good design. So it looks good, and then we'll go ahead and go through the brake setting process. Okay, so this is how you're going to seat your brake pads or break in your brake pads. And I've done this each time that I've dealt with power stop, but if you could see here, you're going to have 5 aggressive decelerations. So you'd go up to 40 miles an hour, slow down from 40 all the way to 10. You'll do that 5 times. And then you will do 5 moderate decelerations, which is from 35 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour. So you go up to 35 and then brake all the way to 5. And then you want to drive slowly after you've completed this process. There's 10 total stopping. After you completed this process, and you want to drive slowly to cool down your brakes. So do that for about 5 minutes and just kind of roll around, and then you will be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and start my vehicle. Okay, so there is nothing on the dash. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys. So if you're actually going to use this button, go ahead and go up. You're going to go ahead and roll until you get to brake pad life. And once you click OK, you could either put that you've installed your front brake pads or your rear brake pads, and you can choose one of them. Now, I will tell you that I went to the dealership and I mentioned, because I have brand new rotors up front and I have brand new rotors in the back. And right now, it says that I have 96% and 64%, which is completely inaccurate. Both of them, the fronts are now 100% and the rear are probably 96% now. Nonetheless, the dealer mentioned to me that for them to be able to reset these, just to reset the percentages, they would have to completely flush the brake fluid and then go in and reset it. And he said it'd be $400 to do. So to tell you the truth, I am not going to do that. So you could either, within the menu, you could disable them. That takes away the actual sensors themselves, or you could just kind of wait, and then once it gets down low enough, then you could reset it. Always make sure that you're checking your rotors and pads, but nonetheless, again, don't claim to be some type of master mechanic, nothing like that. I just hope this video helps you. Okay, so just a quick tip for you while you are trying to remove this plastic cover over this rim. What you want to do is just take a flathead, go ahead and put it inside there, get it in, and as soon as you get in, all you have to do is just push out on it. And obviously you don't want it to slam against the floor, but nonetheless, I'm working with what I have. Real quick also, before I teach you how to put this thing back on nice every single time, is the manufacturer, so Chevrolet actually, according to their instructions, says to torque these to 140 pounds. So retorque these when you put them back on to 140 pounds a piece. Nonetheless, when you go to put this thing back on, you're like, man, how do I put it? And you're always trying to put it and it's not going back on correctly. Go ahead and find that lip that you used before right there to put your flathead in and line that up with the stem of your tire. So if you line that up with the stem, go ahead and put it right there. It goes back in every single time. This should always be facing the stem. That's how you're going to get it in every single time without any issues, without breaking the internal plastics of it. So I hope this helps.